Hey, how's it going? This is Daniel, and I am with Fred this morning. And Fred has a special channel. What is Fred's channel called?
My channel is called Fred the Felon.
Fred the Felon.
Yeah, I know it sounds a lot worse than it is. Actually, I'm a trucker, and so one of the things that we did here yesterday is we had Andrew Yang with us. He was in my truck.
Andrew Yang, I've heard of that guy.
Yeah, he's a presidential candidate. Very, very nice guy. I was really, initially, I was like, man, I can't get with, the policies that he's with until I understood and he explained why, he's doing what he's doing. And honestly, it just makes sense. So, and I'm more of a conservative type of person than his typical voter, whatever.
Sure.
So he rode in my truck. We talked about particularly addiction, recovery. We talked about how to get people out of the mindset when they get out of prison that the world is against them and things like that. We talked about personal accountability, and hopefully when he is president, me and him are going to talk about rehabilitation for ex-cons and things of that nature. So
that's awesome.
It was a nice little ride along he did with me.
So what initially about him did you see or hear that really was like, hey, I want to come to New Hampshire and meet this guy or hang out with this guy?
Just being upfront and honest, I just wanted to, I wanted a little bit more knowledge about him. And, initially when I heard about the Freedom Dividend, I was like, this is insane. Like, how is this going to work?
Like, it's insane, like, that could never work?
Yeah, that could never work. That was my initial response. Right. Because I am so conservative that, my conservatism just kind of kicked in and was like, nope. That's just no way that can work. But
gotcha.
It's worked for Alaska.
Yeah, Alaska.
It has worked for Alaska, and Alaska is a deep red state.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's something I had to consider, So, it's one of those things where more will be revealed, if you like to say,
Okay.
Like they like to say. I initially, like I said, I was like, no, this is not going to work. And then when it was explained to me, like just like a stock, if I could buy stock in a bunch of different companies.
Okay.
And some of them, the board says, hey, we're doing really well. Let's give our stockholders a dividend. Yeah,
our country actually is doing very well as far as wealth goes, because most of our companies are making massive investments and getting the funds from those investments right now.
Well, not only that, but one of the things I liked about him is he talks about automation.
Yes.
Right? And he talks about, companies like Netflix and Amazon and all these big companies, Google, that have all this automation, but they pay little to no taxes.
Yeah.
And so basically what he's talking about doing is having a value added tax, and then having that money go to the American people.
Yeah, I like how he's not talking about raising income taxes for other people, because that seems to be a pretty heated topic. If anytime somebody's like, well, we need to raise, or put an income tax on, the millionaires and billionaires or whatever.
Yeah.
And the way he talks about it, this makes more sense than that type of income tax for personal people, because companies make more money than anybody, pretty much.
So, and I'm just open book. I'm not 100% sold on, the idea, but I'm not completely closed off to the idea.
Right.
Right. And the ideas that he has, if you take the UBI out of it, or the Freedom Dividend, they like to call it,
okay,
all his other ideas,
Yeah.
I am like,
fire.
oh man,
They're fire.
yeah, like the
Okay.
the idea for the president gets $4 million a year, right?
You like
and we
that
can
one.
we can start that.
Yeah, but
We can start that after I'm done, if you'd like.
yeah,
Right? And the reason why
right.
he wants to do that is so that presidents, you know, they're a lot of times they take
They're not-
speaking engagements.
So they're not
afterwards.
swayed by the money while they're in office.
Correct. So they're not
for
swayed by the
after
money.
They're in office.
And you know, like if you have a bunch of CEOs of different companies, or you know, people that are running different states and things of that nature, you're gonna have human nature is you're gonna want to treat those people a little bit differently.
Right.
You know, if you know that you can make money off of that later down the line.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's
like the whole lobbyist and senator thing. We need to.
another thing that I really liked about him is he talked about the democracy dollars.
Yes.
So
I
clean elections. So basically, what he's doing is democracy dollars is like you have $100, for example. Everybody has $100. That you know, it's some kind of money that comes from the government,
Right.
and you can put that toward any politician that you want.
Right.
And the thing is it gets the money in the hands of the people instead of a politician having to go to a company or a billionaire for help.
Right. Like he explains it like, I have all these people who are with me, but they don't have money, so I have to go to some rich dude now and ask him for money.
Yeah. That's how he explained it. He's like, hey, I've got, you know, 100,000 people behind me. Now I've got to go to this other guy to ask him for the money, you know, and it's soul crushing, as he likes to put it. So
Right.
I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed, he's a good person, you know, and, you know, I always say, you know, there's two types of guys. You have your guy that you want to rip up the town with and have a good time with, maybe go to a football game with.
Mm-hmm.
That might not necessarily be the same guy you call if you want somebody to babysit your 5-year-old child, right? And he's the type of person...
Well, don't call me for either of those.
Now, he's the type of person, he's very trustworthy. Like,
Right.
I just trust him as a person. And, you know, this is somebody, I'm pretty conservative in my value system. You know, I'm pro Second Amendment.
Second Amendment.
I'm pro, you know, like personal responsibility, you know, that kind of
pro
stuff.
America.
America! Yeah,
Okay.
that's the kind of guy I am. You know,
Okay.
I'm like, you know, grab yourself by the bootstraps and, you know, man up and don't ask anybody for anything. So initially, when I heard about UBI, my initial response was like, heck no. But then when it was explained the way it was, it makes a little bit of sense, actually.
Okay. Well, we hope for the best for Andrew Yang. I you know, I'm all in at this point. I want him to win. You know, I don't have any doubts really.
Well, here's one of my biggest concerns.
Okay.
My biggest concern is getting out of the Democratic primary,
Right.
more than how he would
So against the
battle.
Trump.
Battle with Trump, because he's very methodical. One of the things that I like him over other Democrats that I think most Democrats use emotionalism, right? They got no plan,
Oh, okay.
right? And they use you're poor, you're and red is racist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're poor, they're rich, tax the rich, and they're racist, right? So
they're using like talking points without. I feel like they're using talking points without having any real solutions for.
yeah. So they
taking care of
cater to
America.
emotional. Where Andrew, one of the things I like about Andrew Yang, here's another perfect example of that. So they were asking him about the voting system with the Electoral College,
Oh,
and he's
right.
like, "Well, we don't need to change the Electoral College. We just need to win. Like, let's not change the rules because we lost.
Right.
right? Only, basically he's saying, let's get out of this loser's mindset.
Yeah, and before he talked about that, I was always kind of on the bandwagon. Yeah, the electoral college.
The electoral college.
The electoral college, is an old system. It needs to be changed or revised. But the way he talked about it, like, no, it's been working for the life of our country. We shouldn't change it just because we lost, the Democrats lost 2 elections. We should win, and don't change the whole system just because the Democrats lost. Well, the thing is, I understand his point, and if it was a popular vote, this is what I didn't understand before, is if it was a popular vote, then politicians would just go to populated cities that have the most people and talk. And I see the value of him having to go to New Hampshire and talk to rural, small groups and rural communities and get the word out.
Yeah, we went to these small groups, and we were just at a house. It was 25, 30 people.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and those people matter,
Right.
And he's a, kind of a all people matter type of guy, So
Absolutely.
I really like him. He's
Well,
a good person.
I'm gonna wrap this interview up. Thank you for watching. Fred the Felon, you can check him out on the YouTube. Subscribe, do the bell thing, whatever you want to do, so you can see more videos like this, and continue to hope for the best for Andrew Yang. We're gonna follow him and see how he does. So thank you, Fred, for hanging out.
Rock and roll,
doing
rock
this
and load.
interview. And we'll catch you later.